It's the eve of Republic Day, and I'm proud to bring you some of India's leading voices doing powerful work on the ground. There aren't many people who weave together a single vision across different causes, and it's even harder to find people who approach public life with a strong commitment to working on a range of causes and not just on issues which are perhaps relevant in a single area or constituency. And the organization I'm focusing on tonight is a strong embodiment of these values. It is truly global in stature, and the work that they're doing on the ground is powerful and remarkable. The Bhamla Foundation is based in Mumbai, India, and works tirelessly on a range of causes from health to the environment and cleanliness. It began in the year 1998 and has since grown to be one of the largest NGOs in Mumbai and in India. It's been endorsed by many eminent personalities over the years and has truly stood the test of time. They've also been awarded by the United Nations Environment Program in New York for their work, and they've also partnered with esteemed foundations such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. So therefore, it is an honor to be joined this evening by Asif Bhamla, the chairman of the Bhamla Foundation. He is a green crusader for the government of India, a philanthropist, a visionary, and he's also a spokesperson for the Bharatiya Janata Party, or the BJP. Mr. Bhamla, it is a pleasure to have you join us on Swell. I wanted to start this off by asking you about your remarkable journey. It's been 25 long years, and in a short span of 5 minutes or so, I was wondering if you could take us through some of your fondest memories and some of the biggest achievements, as you see it, of the Bhamla Foundation.
Hi Karan, nice to hear you, and you've been coordinating with us on getting in this interactive session with Swell, which is indeed globally a very popular radio arrangement, and it's a digital platform though, and I think nowadays the outreach of digital is more than anything other. So I'm happy. I mean, I think this is one of its kind, the ones that we do. Normally we're too used to doing television and on the Instagram, on the Facebook and on Twitter, but this is one of its kind. So I'm very happy to indulge into something, a new avenue, a new arrangement of communication for its outreach. I understand it's got a vast outreach, and a lot of millennials do follow with Swell. And now, of course, please have me also along with the millennials to be one of the persons to be part of this arrangement here. Well, you asked me of my journey of the 25 years. I said 25 years has been it's like it was just a few it was just like few years ago. It was just like 2.5 years ago. The way times passed, the way activities happened, the way things roll out, and the number of people that you meet, the number of interactions you have, and there is so much that you learn. And through the learnings, there is so much that you exhibit and at the ground level. And we've been very fortunate. God has been kind to us. And as I said, I have been from college an activist. From college, I was a students' union leader while I was in MMK college. Then I passed off. While I was in college, I used to do these activities, these cultural events like the Navratris, the Eid Milans, the Diwali Milans, to ensure that, people come on the common platform across, caste, community and creed. And taking off from there, then, we started a small outfit by the name I Love Bandra, because I was very Bandra centric. I mean, I was a typical Bandra boy. So, going from there, one fine day when I graduated from college, and then since the momentum of the youngsters was so much, there was, and since I came originally from Bandra, and the entire film industry was based in Bandra, so I caught the imagination of a lot of young stars. I mean, those times, when I say young, I mean Amir Khan, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan also. So these were the millennial stars, and so were we. Okay, so we, apart from that, we had a number of film people who originally resided from Bandra, who caught the imagination of my work with regard to social, creating a social awareness, social fabric, with regards to various issues, with the youngsters resorting to the usage of alcohol, drugs. Those were the very common subjects in those point in times, and we spearheaded those campaign. And of course, then during elections came, and then I became a part of the NSUI. I held a very important and a very significant post then with the Congress. I was a district president, and then of course I was transformed with age to join the Youth Congress. I became the Vice President of Youth Congress of Mumbai also. So with times the political growth happened. My social outfit from I Love Bandra transformed to We Love India, and from We Love India, then we had these grand Navratris, which were film-based Navratris. It was like a Tal night, so we used to have an Aishwarya Rai, Akshay Khanna. All these actors come over with Subhash Ghai presenting it. We would have the late Sunil Dutt who would also be present. So that was the glamour level. Of course, the digital media was not so active, but there was media, and so that's from where we started off.
Mr. Bhamla, thank you so much for giving us that outline, and it's been a truly remarkable journey. And as an organization of such global stature, the common perception is that there isn't a lot of government support for the social sector, and global foundations are finding it hard to sustain in India. So I was wondering what you thought about that particular sentiment as someone who runs a global organization and that is Mumbai-centric.
Yeah, you rightly mentioned that as far as the support from the government at times, we do face a lot of challenges. And I understand, we are like one of the NGOs, like many that exist in our country. If you see nowadays, when we started this foundation 25 years ago, we were very few. It was like, ये क्या होता है, ये NGO क्या होता है, और इसकी क्या मतलब इसके बारे में, इसकी क्या खासियत है. But now, अगर हम देखते हैं right now, so every lane has an NGO and Mandal and Mahamandal like that. These things have started off, and I won't be skeptical, but I would say everybody's trying to do the better and the good which they can in their own capacities. And I understand, governments come, they change, they go, and in India, of course, the support system from the government is definitely less because the diaspora has got to be so big and vast. The numbers have increased so much that how much and who all do they support. Everyone wants to do good work. Some of them want to do genuine good work silently without catching the imagination, and they do groundwork. And if you see, people like us, had we been in some rural sector, maybe we would have not got this acclaim to even be a part of this accomplished platform. But then, since we are in Mumbai and since we are, having the support, the cooperation, the involvement of so many, renowned celebrities who are part of this, and I particularly believe that we involve them so that because stars and film people are role models of many. Okay. So we utilize them in the interest of, ensuring that there is greater traction to our campaigns, which obviously we do. But as far as the government, and I have been of the opinion that whatever support we get, I have, of course, we work with campaigns with the Mahanagar Palika with the MCGM in Mumbai. We work with the Ministry of Environment in Maharashtra, and with the Ministry of Environment and the Government of India also. We work we've been working past 5-6 years continuously. But of course, the support is very meager in ratio, if you ask me. But I mean, I would rather not waste my time in cribbing about that. But we got to move forward, thinking that okay, our government also has got many areas to look into. So we like that we being very consistent, but consistently we've taken up various issues, of public interest, with regards to social aspects, and so on. And I think we're, rather than complaining that there is less resources, with the available resources, we're trying to explore that to make optimal usage of the same.
Mr. Bhamla, I really appreciate that approach of, maintaining, focusing on the positives as opposed to focusing on the negatives. But, if I were to place this question in a separate context, you are someone who is a social activist, but you're also someone who's involved in the Indian ecosystem politically. You currently serve as a spokesperson of the BJP, which is the country's ruling party in the center. So I wanted to get your view of how you see these elections that are coming up. How does one go about reading elections? In Goa, for instance, they believe that there's factionalism within the party. There's a lot of problems that are happening within the BJP itself, which aren't probably being reported. So as someone who's invested in the Indian political system as well, how do you see the elections in Goa? And if you could shortly give us your take on the Uttar Pradesh elections as well, that would be very helpful.
As far as the elections are concerned, I think BJP is is fairly comparatively on a very fair wicket, though with due respect to the incumbencies, with the situations of demonetization, with the situation of a GST given in place, with of course COVID been consistently there. For past 2 years, the people of the country have faced so much. The political spectrum has also had a lot to look at. I mean, be from any party, but I would, if you talk to me on a comparative arrangement on like you mentioned, there is some infighting or there's some difference of opinion. I think comparatively BJP is on a very fine wicket in spite of being in power there from the past 7 or more than 7 years. I think facing these many challenges also, it is still putting up a very united fight. UP was last time, a fabulous victory. Goa, of course, the party has party's concern. It has put up a brave, arrangement in terms of the work that they've done on the ground reality. If you see people from the leaders, tall leaders from the other parties, of course, I understand a few of them, very handful, minuscule numbers have gone from the BJP to, maybe a little bit of that in Samajwadi in UP or maybe in Goa. But if you see there are truckloads of leaders who've joined. I mean, today itself, I'm seeing 2-3 top names. I mean, big names, RPN Singh and stuff like that, who left the Congress and joined Samajwadi Party. Mulayam's daughter-in-law has joined. So it's a big jolt if you see with the other parties. And why are they joining? Because I think they somewhere feel that there is sabka saath, sabka vikas, and they're joining. There is a minority candidate with the BJP is also pitched in one of the constituencies in UP, and I think this time around, if you see, even in Goa, of course there are 2 or 3 of them I know have left because of the tickets have not been granted. So I think the BJP doesn't want to repeat the candidate. If you see, they have changed their chief ministerial candidates also in so many states. And there has been no hue and cry. Had it been in any other states, like even a Congress even tried to do that in a state like Punjab, and you're seeing that now Amrinder is with the BJP. So, having said that, I mean, in spite of the changes, the cadre of the party is united. They understand that the transformation is there. It's for the greater good, and I think it's if you ask me comparatively, in all the states. BJP seems to be on a position that it would secure absolute majority. Pune also, Punjab also this time. I mean, with the way things are going, Congress is on a very, is on a distributed, I would say, house. AAP is venturing there. I'm sure AAP is, the way at the face of it, AAP is going to eat into a lot of secular and Congress votes. So there's going to be a split. And now with Captain himself, coming into the BJP, the end of the BJP, the strength of the BJP, because it was a good tall face that was missing. I think BJP reminisces with that and sees that in a Captain Amrinder Singh, who has been the chief minister from past 4 terms in a place like Punjab. So all states, if you ask me, there has been good, but then again, it's the people, the perception of the people. Like Bengal was terrible, but here, but for these states, I think we are still better off, and I'm sure the BJP is going to put a brave fight, and it'll come out with flying numbers.
Hello, Asif. This is Deborah from Los Angeles, California, in the States. Thank you for the work that you're doing with the Bhamla Foundation, and thank you for being here on Swell. And I wanted to ask you about that trifecta, that combination of government, business, and environmental NGOs that seems to always be circling each other when it comes to making policy and making change. And here in the States, we always look at government as being tied to big money, big corporation, big agenda that is not necessarily good for the environment. So the environmental organizations are always trying to, do grassroots efforts to make changes in spite of the government and in spite of the corporations. Do you feel like that is similar in India? Do you feel like there's just huge division philosophically, or do you feel like you're moving towards one unified idea that can help India move forward in a really productive way, where big money, even money that goes into dirty energy, can change because policy at the governmental level is going to change, and therefore the NGOs will be more powerful in their effect on environmental policies and the evolution of the cause? I also have a few follow-up questions. The first one is about infrastructure of your country and your vision for changing infrastructure to be more aligned with environmental standards. And specifically, what areas of infrastructure do you see having the biggest hope for you, where things can change and because there's better use of money and resources, it will impact the environment? I'll pick a low-hanging fruit, I guess, which is the sanitation and garbage and septic systems. I know there's innovation all the time. Do you see that sector really contributing to making sure the environment is safe from all the byproducts of that industry? My third question has to do with education, specifically to the Bhamla Foundation, which has done so much to impact different sectors and lift people from a place of ignorance to a place of understanding and action. What programs are you really excited about right now that teach multiple generations about the environment, about what to do, about actions to take? What are you seeing for the next year or so, or the next couple of years, where education is really going to make an impact on the environment? And are there certain programs right now that you can point to that we can support that are really showing results? Thank you so much.
Hi, Deborah. Pleasure connecting with you on this platform, Swell, and it's an honor. I've heard so much about you, and looking forward to doing many more things. But right away, replying to your question, about the business houses and the corporates in connivance with the existing governments. You see, we know that this is a universal arrangement globally, be it in the States or be it in India. Obviously, the corporates, do play a very significant role in the policies of the government, in the finance policies, in the environment policies, and at times I know, and I'm very surely aware that there are a lot of compromises that do happen on various levels, but in larger for a greater good, if there are certain issues, like if you see in Mumbai, it was the RA was there were thousands of sorry, I'm coming back to RA. There were thousands of trees that had to be evacuated to ensure that the metro car station was fixed. So as a policy, the government of the day then had to ensure that they evacuated that many trees with the assurance that they would replant 3 times those trees in some other areas in the interest of an infrastructure arrangement. But then again, that also ran out into a dispute because the state government changed post that, and in the center the government continued to be the same. So these technical issues, I think, will come as a hindrance to the ideological working and with regards to environment, be it on issues of air pollution, because we know the industrial wastes, we know the fossil fuels. This is an issue. So the climate change mitigation is certainly going to have an impact, but then at the end, you see, these are corporates, and we understand as an environmentalist, my heart goes out, and we would certainly want to protect, the waters of the lakes, the excretas, the pollution that causes so much of damage to our sea animals, and it caused so much of damages to overall, into so many aspects, So I certainly do have a different wavelength, but then by going against an arrangement, or government will not land you into any significant thing. But having said that, we do work with, in terms of support, we do work with, because the government has a policy of a CSR. So the CSR does invariably, the corporates do support NGOs here, because there is a compulsion of the corporates to ensure that there is an X number of CSR money to be designated for causes like environment, for causes like sustainability. So there is where organizations like us, at least in a country like India, do utilize and come in place, and we try to utilize their share, the CSR in larger interest for a greater good. In terms of energy utilization in metro cities and in a lot of rural areas also, there is a very strong movement for the segregation of garbage. And the garbage, as in the wet and the dry garbage. Of course, in America and in the European countries, it's a very common feature, and it's embedded from childhood. But unfortunately, in India, of course, we have no place for the garbage dumps also anymore. Our the dump yards are fully packed. So now, in a metro city, for example, if I may say, we are propagating the segregation segregation of garbage, which the wet and dry garbage, and it converts into energy, and energy that is reusable energy, the biogas plant. So we try and utilize that aspect of it. And in fact, in a place in Bandra where I reside, we have launched that with the local MLA here, and we've launched this plant, the biogas plant, which converts this into electricity, and your garbage is used to enlighten your own vicinity. That's the basic hashtag in terms and in the interest of sustainability. That's one aspect. Going back to your infrastructure, if you talk about infrastructure to align and make greater utility for environmental purposes, so obviously we have the gardens that are developed because to reduce the carbon footprints, we have regular tree plantation drives. We have these vertical gardens now, especially below the highways, below the metro bridges, the stations, and so on, where we have these vertical gardens where we plant, where we plant trees, and where there is a sizable amount of green patches that have been created to ensure that there is more there's a compensation vis-a-vis carbon dioxide to oxygen. Plus, also, we are trying to reduce the carbon footprint in terms of infrastructure, if you say, by using electrical mobility now. By electric mobility, I mean the BST buses are now being changed from petrol and diesel to electrical buses. The cars that have been used, are also the cars that have been used are also electronic. Of course, there's still a long way to go, because yet a lot of the charging centers have to be installed, and there is a lot of work to go. And India is such a vast nation, and there is so much of traffic. There is a sizable amount of pollution which the government has to deal with people commuting every day has to deal with, whether it's by the roadways, whether it's the railways. So it will, of course, take time, but the consciousness has risen to utilize the infrastructure to the optimum usage for sustainability. That is, the thing, and once that is there, I think we may take a little more time than other countries, but I'm sure we are there to make sure that this does happen in reality. Beautiful question, Deborah. A question of my interest, very certainly. Environment consciousness has increased so much, especially in the millennials, if I may say, that the youngsters, I mean, right from the age of standard 4 to grade 5 and onwards, there is so much of consciousness, which maybe even we were given this environment in a very congenial way by our predecessors. With the kind of pollution and with the kind of climate change and mitigation, the young generation, the millennials, are very concerned. They're very worried about whether will we be able to give back the same planet to them in a healthy and a congenial way? No. So that's a very big question mark. So the concern in them is more. Which is why, if you see in our campaigns of beach cleanings of the mangroves, and campaigns on air pollution, on plastic pollution that the Bhamla Foundation does, there is vast volunteers to that, because there is a large scale concern towards them that no, we should have this planet. People like us, we've crossed half of our age, or maybe more than half the age, but they want to live with this planet more than us. So the concern, the desire to have this climate, this planet in a much healthier way is there, which is why the millennials are very concerned. In fact, we as the Bhamla Foundation have also proposed and are also on the verge of proposing. We proposed it to state government, we are proposing it to the central government also, to ensure that environment be made a subject right from school, because you got to imbibe the ethos of environment conservation from your teenage as you grow. Like, okay, why do I use extra electricity? When I leave my house, I should make sure that I shut the light, I shut the air conditioner, I shut my fan, and I leave. I should make sure that I don't litter garbage on the road. I should ensure that mandatory, I should plant X number of trees. I should ensure that I should not consume plastic because it stays for 500 goddamn years. So these things are, there is a consciousness, and I think the generation, we have in fact appealed to the government to have this in the curriculum, environment as a subject to be incorporated in a curriculum of all, in all faculties, because this is a universal issue which has to be addressed, and via education, if these, if this is incorporated in your self as you grow, it will certainly make a lot of difference. And I think there is a serious consciousness and consideration with both the governments here in India, in the state and the center, to ensure that this is taken up as a subject in terms of practicals. That is right from the beach cleaning things to this, having lectures on sustainability, to teaching them. So education is the only way forward to ensure that this there is more awareness, there is more consciousness, and this should come from within. As you grow up, the concern for environment grows up with you, and is there with you till you're there in this beautiful planet of motherhood.
Asif, thank you so much for your answers. And I think there's a really inspiring theme here, which is relationships, which is the idea of coordinating the conversations at whatever level you're discussing, whether it's with the corporations or with the people building infrastructure or with teachers in classrooms. You're looking at weaving the agenda through all three of those sectors so that the change is systemic, so that the change it can be sustained through generations. And you speak of how large India is, and it's a challenge, but it's also an inspiring way to see how things can propagate out when they're right. When they're wrong, they stay stuck and they don't grow and they don't move in through the different networks because they're bottlenecked somewhere because they don't have the right ingredients. But when something does work in India, it is a sure sign that we need to look at it hard and say, what can we learn from this? I think it's really inspiring to convert, the garbage to something that can be useful. I think it's really inspiring to embed environmental teachings in school. And I think it's inspiring to know that the students that you're teaching are someday going to be running those corporations and making the decisions that are going to help really make big change. I'm just very encouraged to hear your conviction. You've got a great fire in your belly, and I loved hearing your voice and hearing you speak about this. So thank you so much, and I look forward to other questions in this swell.